I call the honourable member for Corangamite.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. My question is to the Minister for Immigration and Border Protection. Will the minister update the House on action the government is taking to keep the communities safe at our borders?
I call the honourable Minister for Immigration and Border Protection.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, and I thank the honourable member for her question and thank her very much for being such a strong voice in this place when it comes to issues of national security. Now, Madam Speaker, as the Prime Minister has pointed out earlier in question time today, this government, any Australian government, has no higher responsibility than keeping our people safe and secure. Now, our frontline staff at the airports, our federal police, all of our intelligence agency staff need support, Madam Speaker, in this fight because it is an unprecedented threat that we face from terrorism. Now, what happened, Madam Speaker, when Labor was in government, when the Leader of the Opposition was in Cabinet? They ripped out $700 million from Customs and Border Protection Services. $700 million the Labor Party took away from our frontline staff in their fight against terrorism, and it was a disgraceful action from a hopeless and incompetent government. Now, what have we done over the course of the last 18 months or so, Madam Speaker? We have restored much of that funding. We've restored it because we want to give every possible tool and capacity to those frontline officers to make sure that they can keep our country safe and secure. We have provided additional money, which has meant that Labor's cuts that resulted in a 25% cut in the screening of sea cargo and a 75% cut in the screening of air cargo is a thing of the past. That's what happened under Labor. We've been able to restore funding, Madam Speaker, to make sure that that screening can take place so that we can keep our borders secure. But in addition to that, Madam Speaker, we've been able to put in $88 million to stand up counter-terrorism unit officers at our 8 international airports, something that could not be contemplated by Labor because they took money away from those frontline services. And at a time when the threat to our country from terrorism is at its greatest, these officers have swung into action. And, Madam Speaker, they have already offloaded passengers from flights. Indeed, 288 passengers have been offloaded from flights after the CTU officers at our international airports have intervened. They've conducted 108,000 real-time assessments of people who are catching flights. They are the ones, Madam Speaker, who deserve the support of our government, and they get it from this side of politics. Those people who are standing up to terrorism at the borders, at the airports, at the ports, deserve the support of a grateful nation, and unfortunately, when Labor was in power, they had money ripped out of their pockets and it was a disgrace. So, Madam Speaker, the fact is that we will provide support to these officers because they are stopping these people going across to fight in the Middle East. They are stopping them when they get back to this country, and this government, Madam Speaker, will absolutely stand up with those officers to keep the Australian public safe.